Coming up on Look Today, well, the New York State Restaurant Association is touring the state to meet with different restaurant owners. They were in our area. We were there. I've got details. Plus, we've got more updates on South High's marathon dance. And we've got continuing coverage of the ongoing opioid crisis in our area. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jay Hood Jackson. This is Look Today. On tonight's program, I sit down with Dave Johnson. He's marketing chair, board of directors, Burnt Hills Oratorio Society. And he's here to talk about an upcoming performance. It's called Broadway Cabaret. It's happening on February 11th. Plus, I also sit down with Harrison Freer. He's a board member for Literacy New York. This is of the Greater Capital Region. Now, we're joined by Roseanne Anzalone, who's coordinator for the group, and they're here to talk about the services they provide to the community. Great interview. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. The lead story, the New York State Restaurant Association is touring the state to meet with different restaurant owners. Now, the CEO and president of the association met with Saratoga Springs restaurant owners at the Saratoga Springs Chamber of Commerce today. They discussed the potential impact that eliminating the state New York tip credit would have on restaurants. Well, Governor Cuomo has asked the New York State Department of Labor to examine the tip credit and whether or not it should be replaced with a higher minimum wage. Now, as you know, service industry workers really rely on tips, probably as a main source of their income. Now, if the tips are eliminated, restaurant owners will be forced to raise prices on their menus to compensate for the higher wages. Well, we were at the meeting where the CEO, Melissa Fleischert, spoke about the reasoning behind this initiative.
Right now he's just looking at it. He wants to hold these hearings. I think that they think that the idea would be that tipped employees aren't currently making the minimum wage, which is a fallacy. Tipped employees are always guaranteed full minimum wage under the current system. If at any time their tips do not get them over the current minimum wage requirement by state law, these employers make up the difference. So they're always guaranteed the full minimum wage.
Now, Jasper Alexander, chef and owner of the famous restaurant Hattie's in Saratoga Springs, spoke as well.
To take away these tips or to not allow the tip credit would drastically reduce their ability to plan for the future, to pay for their mortgages, pay for their families, pay for their kids to go to school. It would be disastrous. And ultimately it would lead to a decrease in service. It would lead to a decrease potentially in the number of jobs that are available. If these people can't, earn the sort of living that they've come accustomed to, they're going to find something else to do.
Wow, complicated issue for sure. All right, in other news, we told you last week, South High is getting ready for its annual marathon dance. Now, this year's theme is prehistoric. And the dance is taking place March 2nd and 3rd. Leading up to this main fundraiser, there will be a variety of different smaller fundraisers. Believe it or not, last year, they raised over $800,000. Now, each year, the students who organize the dance pick over 30 recipients in the community to receive benefits from the funds that they raise. Now, we spoke to one of the students, Anika Kreppen.
We actually elect all of the recipients as a student body, and then as a chairperson, we go in a separate day, and we have a huge list, and it's great. It's a great feeling, and we actually get to call the recipients, and the way that they answer the phone, it's so heartwarming to hear their responses, and we videotape them, and it's the greatest feeling.
Tell me you couldn't see in her face her enthusiasm. The student, and we're going to have the students here again, by the way. It's kind of an annual event for us as well. They're so excited and so passionate about raising this money. All right, switching from news to weather. There is a slight chance of snow and rain later on tonight. So let's see how the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponster with your first look weather update here on Look TV. Let's take a look at the national forecast tonight. Also, this low pressure just offshore brings some stormy weather to portions of the I-95 corridor, but not too far inland, impacting the Capital District as this band of potential rain and snow showers advancing into the area. Mainly snow, because temps are going to be in the teens for overnight lows across much of New England. Albany 16 degrees, 18 Clifton Park, Boston Spa about 17, Greenwich as well with a 15-degree overnight low in Fort Edward. So generally we'll see teens for overnight lows. Wind chills could be down into the upper single digits, so make sure you have that extra layer handy as you work your way outside. Overcast skies with that north wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. We'll see some midday snow showers, mostly cloudy, 25 on your Tuesday. Out the door, a cold start under overcast skies, mid-upper teens and wind chills about 10. Extended forecast, some brutally cold weather in store for your Wednesday morning with an overnight low of 7. 25 the afternoon high, then we'll reach a high of 38 with rain and snow chances on Thursday, followed by even a little bit more colder weather as we head towards the weekend. Groundhog Day looks still chilly, 23, partial sunshine, then partly sunny skies on Saturday, overnight low of 2, 21 the afternoon high. That was your weather update here on Look TV. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponster. Now I send it back to you, Jesse.
Thanks very much, Clarence. All right, back to the news. There's a very interesting story coming up. You know, we've been doing continuing coverage of the ongoing opioid crisis in our area. Well, how about this? Queensbury teacher Robert Dean has dealt with the opioid crisis firsthand. Now, first he lost his brother, then he lost his sister to overdoses, all within the span of 18 months. And since then, Robert started sharing his story to spread awareness to help combat this crisis. Now, he's a teacher at Queensbury High School, and he's working to build an educational curriculum at the school to raise awareness on this issue. Now, we spoke to him about this.
Well, I'm fortunate to be working at a school where I can talk about both my brother and sister and what happened to them and where they may have started with addiction. So right now I'm putting together a plan to work with our high school health department, our school board, our administration to come up with a game plan, the perfect lesson to engage our students, to make them aware that this is real. It's in our community, and it doesn't, does not discriminate.
Wow, that's one very courageous person. Now, we also spoke to him about an event that he is organizing.
Our Remembrance Walk is February 16th in the city of Glens Falls Park. That's right next to the Crandall Library. And we have all sorts of organizations that'll be there just to explain their program, what they can do to help others, what they're doing to help others. But really, we kind of want to be a freight train and have our voices heard. We want to reach out to local government, to state government, and let them know that we need help.
Wow. Okay, up next, I sit down with Dave Johnson. He's marketing chair, board of directors for the Burnt Hills Oratorio Society. And he's here to talk about an upcoming performance, a really interesting one called A Cabaret Night. And it's happening February 11th. Plus, I also sit down with Harrison Freer. He's a board member for Literacy New York. That covers the greater capital region. And we're joined by Roseanne Anzalone. She's a coordinator for the group. And they're here to talk about the services they provide to the community. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea. How about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. It's Monday, so we like to look ahead. Cheryl Hage-Perez is coming in. We're going to talk about all things related to veterans. The organizers for Dance Flurry are coming in. We're going to be talking to the restaurant owners about what they think about this tip credit issue with New York State. And just one final note that we're still having some equipment problems. They sneak up on you. It's like a needle in a haystack. So we were off air for a while on Friday, and we were actually down on Saturday as well. I appreciate people calling in and letting us know. We do know about it, and it's just some of the equipment is just not recovered from the flood. But we're working on it, okay? Don't forget, and you can tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.